Something triggered me to look at my old note when I had a talk with Mihoko Okamura-san, who was the secretary to Daisetz for the last 15 years of his life. I had a talk with her in 2006 to 2010 mainly. She said something like, while Daisetz was alive, it was as if he was already dead. That is to mean no ego. Although he had delusions, there was no effect on him. Okamura-san said he lived like a mountain stream where water flows smoothly. She also shared with me a famous saying by a Zen monk, Shido Bunan. It says, while being alive, the person may appear as if he has already deceased, yet he acts like a living art. In the note I had with her had these comments. Karma or our habitual patterns will not go away. Yet karma does not affect like burden, as one may notice it, but without much effect. By the way, I know of such examples in Myokonin, in Shin Buddhism. Also, she mentioned that in the Yuima Sutra, the Buddhist Sutra, Yuima the Bodhisattva says, people suffer, therefore I suffer. Actually, that was the test of me going out to the world after my awakening, which I can talk a bit later. So in Yuima's case, the sentence points that the suffering is common for all, yet Yuima is liberated. Saying this simple, delusion immediately turns into awakening, thus there's no much effect. There's not much effect. And I want to touch on a brief history of myself after my awakening that took place in 2000 at the Vipassana retreat. After my awakening and after 10 years of research of various people's awakening experiences, because there was no easy way to capture what that big event was, so I have to check and balance with others who may have had the similar experience. I researched mostly through books, but also meeting few people in person. Then I came to my conclusion of what that experience means. Having such sense, and soon after that realization, I had a divorce, deciding to further explore the world. Now it is 2022, which is like 10 years passed from that divorce. I look back the past 10 years or dozen years, and I may have explored much more than I should have. I might have explored much more than I should have. Examples, new relationships, traveling, new houses, things like that. Especially if I compare myself to those who have lived their life in a secluded environment like monks. I was a little more exploratory of the world. Yet I wanted to explore the world and see how my resolution from my awakening and so forth may be actually practiced, like the idea of yuima. People suffer, I suffer. I'm still like a bodhisattva. Anyway, one reason is that I seem to have lived my life relatively smoothly without much hardship, except I can think of fairly significant financial loss in the stock market in 1999. And that pain may have triggered my awakening experience 1 year later, as if to break through the suffering and spending 10 days in meditation. Of course, nobody knows the cause and effect relationship. So anyway, during the past 10 years, I learned more about how the people in various countries and different settings may live and how I responded or interacted with them, often with some level of suffering. Why do I go back to the world and explore? I can't tell, but that's how I felt, that I wanted to experience life than the steady, quiet time for myself. If I use the analogy of the middle way, just reflecting this period of 10 years, the middle way Buddha talked about, I was curious about life. It may be because since I have not had much deep, heavy suffering, I wanted to test how I may find myself in a new, unknown environment. I'm at 74 years now. I have been revisiting the books I read before, as if to revisit the idea of who I am again. In short, while there was more information I got from the web, I found my books I studied had in the past and my notes I kept were quite useful to acquaint myself to all the subject of spirituality. Yes, it was like me as a prodigal son to return home. I don't know the future. I'm already 74. I don't think I'll explore much further into the world. Although the world seems so chaotic, so I'm very concerned. I would find myself perhaps in a more quiet setting to capture all the lessons, whatever I can capture, and live the best I can and see if it makes sense or not. Just a thought on the occasion at the age 74. Thanks for listening.